You're watching Reality Check. The media should never be the story, but some nights it does. This is one of those nights. As many of you probably already know, the Mumbai police claims to have unearthed one of the worst kept secrets of the TV business, of how ratings are rigged. And they claim to have busted Republic TV and two other Marathi channels on allegations of bribing TV viewers to watch only their channels. Now, to be clear, TV viewership is measured by people meters attached to TV sets. Not all televisions have meters. In fact, of an estimated 20 crore TV households in India, only 44,000 have meters, making the system very vulnerable to rigging. These meters are installed by an independent agency called BARC, which measures TV rating points or TRPs. Now, Mumbai police have explained how this rating scam worked. As I mentioned, people meters are attached to TV sets to measure ratings. Mumbai has about 2,000 people meter households. The information of this people meters is meant to be kept secret. Only the agency is supposed to know it. Now, BARC apparently employed an agency called Hansa to install and oversee these meters. Ex-employees of Hansa reportedly leaked information of these people meters to Republic and to these other channels. And the police alleged that Republic bribed some of these households to ensure that they only watch Republic to boost its ratings. According to the police, Republic and these other channels paid anywhere between 400 to 500 rupees per month per household for this. The police claim to have seized 28 lakh rupees from one of the people they arrested. The police have also sent a notice to BARC. They say that one of the people they arrested said that he had bribed BARC households to watch Republic TV, and so they've asked BARC for a list of all households where this arrested person was deputed as a relationship manager. Now, BARC, the ratings agency, has responded to this Mumbai police expose. In a statement, they say, as in all our previous cases of suspected panel home intrusions, BARC India continues to follow its established vigilance and disciplinary guidelines. BARC remains steadfastly true to its purpose to accurately and faithfully report what India watches. They said BARC appreciates the efforts of the Mumbai police and will provide the support asked of it. In response, Arnab Goswami of Republic has also issued a statement saying these are false allegations. He'll file criminal defamation cases against Mumbai's police commissioner. Not a single BARC report, he says, mentions Republic TV. He said that Parambir Singh, this is the Mumbai police commissioner's probe in the Sushant Singh Rajput case, had come under a cloud, and these were desperate measures because of Republic's SSR case reportage, and that the Mumbai top cop should issue an official apology. Now, I spoke to Parambir Singh earlier tonight, and I asked him about all of this, specifically starting with the allegation that whether this probe had a political aspect to it. Now, as we've been saying at NDTV, we're in a sense vindicated. This is something we've been saying all along, that ratings are corrupt and they're rigged. But there is a level of discomfort when the police investigates channels, because then channels can turn around to say this is all politically motivated, etc. And you must have seen Parambir Singh, that's what Arnab is saying. He's saying that these charges are baseless, the police has no evidence, and this is coming from a political bias because of the kind of coverage he's been doing of you and of the government in Maharashtra. So let me just start off by asking you how you would respond to that.
So, the complaint has been lodged not by us.
Okay.
The complaint has been lodged by Hansa, which is the agency which works for BARC, which is an independent agency. The trends, unnatural trends and suspicious trends were not noticed by us, but it was noted by BARC and by Hansa.
Okay.
They noticed suspicious activity and some suspicious trends in TRPs of certain channels.
So
they
Hansa
also identified one or two of their ex-employees. They also identified one or two ex-employees of theirs,
yes,
who had taken away the confidential data of barometer installation. It is confidential data about the households where the meters are installed. The channels are not supposed to know that, but these people shared those that data with some of the channels. Monies were being paid to these people to manipulate the households, their TRPs, their viewership pattern.
Okay.
So the channels which were identified by BARC were firstly 2 small channels called Fakht Marathi and Box Cinema, and third channel which was identified for suspicious trending.
So Parambir
was
saying,
Republic.
okay, you're
It
saying,
is not done by us.
okay, that's what I'm trying to understand. You're saying that the complaint was filed by Hansa. They are the ones who filed the complaint before
That's
you.
right. That's right. That's right.
Okay. And just to understand,
So,
yes, I can hear you.
We are not trying to take the, so we are not trying to take the role of the regulators or monitors for the media.
Right.
Because a criminal offense of criminal breach of trust and cheating has been registered with us by an independent agency.
Okay.
They gave us certain data, they gave us certain names. We called those witnesses, those households where these TRP is being manipulated. Those households, the members of those households gave us a statement that they were paid monies to watch certain channels. Even when they were not at home, the channel should be left on.
Okay.
Some of these households did not even, were not even English speaking. So they were asked to switch on English channels throughout the day. So this is not coming from us also. So an agency has lodged a criminal complaint with us, which is being investigated by our crime branch, which is a very professional agency, and a very professional investigation is being done. Some evidence has already come with us. We are collecting more evidence. More people are being summoned.
Okay.
2 arrests of ex-employees of Hansa has already been made. 2 small channels operators, the owners of small channels, have been arrested already. 4 arrests so far.
Okay.
And we will arrest or summon people from other channels also, as per their role in the entire racket.
So one thing I'm trying to understand, Parambir Singh, that who exactly is it that actually named Republic TV as having paid the bribes? Was it the households themselves, or was it these ex-Hansa employees, or who?
So the name, the suspicious trend, suspicious pattern was conveyed to us by BARC. Then the names of those households where suspicious activity was noticed was also shared by BARC and by Hansa.
Okay.
And when we called those households, then they also said, yes, they were paid monies to watch certain channels to increase the TRPs. And as you would know, TRPs directly translate into advertising revenues.
Okay.
So any revenues which were earned by manipulating the TRPs by committing an offense would be proceed of the crime, and they are liable to be proceeded against, and we will definitely proceed against them as per law.
So in terms of the actual evidence, because that's the key thing here, you've made a very serious allegation. What would you say is the core of the evidence that you have against Republic and these other channels?
The investigation will go on for a few months, definitely 2 to 3 months. Where law gives us 3 months to investigate such a case.
Yes.
The investigation has only started 3-4 days ago.
But
so far, we have got evidence from BARC about suspicious patterns. We have arrested, we have not arrested, we have called 3 witnesses who were paid money to watch a particular channel. They have given their statements.
Okay.
Other evidence is being collected, and we will investigate professionally. Investigation is the process of collecting evidence.
Right.
And as and when we have sufficient evidence, we shall prosecute those who are accused of the charge.
And you said in your press conference that you're going not just after junior employees, but you're also going after promoters and directors and so on. So does that mean that, does that include someone like Arnab Goswami as well?
So what I said was that we will identify those who are either beneficiaries or who are involved in this racket of this manipulation. We will be issuing summons, examining the roles of various people, and those who are involved will proceed against them, however high or low they may be.
And what is the exact criminality here, Mr. Singh, if you could tell us? What is the criminality? What is the specific charges or the sections of the law that apply in a case like this?
So the specific charges which are levied in the FIR lodged by Hansa are 409, which is criminal breach of trust, and cheating, 420 of IPC. Both are non-bailable sections, punishable with 10 years of imprisonment.
Okay, criminal breach of trust, cheating. But are you saying, sir, because BARC has also issued a statement saying that we regularly do our audits and we are cooperating with the police, but is it your understanding that BARC, Hansa, they were aware that this rigging was going on and they brought it to you, or you uncovered it? How did, yeah, if you could clarify that.
So the complaint has come to us from Hansa. So, I mean, saying that they were aware, the moment they became aware of some practice, they lodged a complaint with us and they have cooperated with our investigation.
Okay. So Hansa was aware and that's why they lodged the complaint.
Last question, please. Last question, please.
Last question. Last question to you. I just want to come back to where we started, that, you know, because Arnab has been very public in his attacks on the Sena, NCP, Congress coalition government in Mumbai. He's attacked the Mumbai police, gone after you as well about the whole Sushant Singh Rajput case. So that's the question that is coming again and again, that all that you're doing, is it a reaction to that, or is this a genuine attempt to clean up this whole rigged ratings business?
So I have no grand design behind it to cleanse up the system. A complaint of a criminal act has been received from us,
right,
by our crime branch, on which an offence has been registered and it is being investigated professionally by our crime branch. We will do a professional job. We will collect evidence, and against those against whom we find sufficient evidence, we will proceed against them.
This is not vendetta.
So as I said, we don't proceed against anyone with vendetta.
Okay.
We have maintained earlier also, in fact 2-3 days ago, I came out and said that certain sections of social media where more than 1 lakh fake social media accounts and bots were created to run down Mumbai police, to spoil our image, to malign our name, and certain sections media were also playing that role. We are not into that business.
Okay.
We do a professional investigation. Our investigation in Sushant Singh Rajput case was also a very professional investigation, which was upheld by the Honorable Supreme Court also.
Okay.
And the findings of our report, findings of our Cooper hospital doctors and the forensic experts has also been corroborated by the AIMS panel of the doctors and the forensic experts.
Okay.
So ours has been a professional job, whether Sushant Singh Rajput investigation was concerned or where the present investigation is concerned.
Okay.
We are not into vendetta business at all.
All right. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
Singh. All right, let me go to panel. We have with us Dr. S.Y. Qureshi, who is a former Chief Election Commissioner. He's also been with the National Broadcast Standards Authority. He's also been former DG of Doordarshan. We have with us R. Balakrishna, also known as Balki, filmmaker and advertiser. And last but not the least, drumroll, Nidhi Razdan is here, who I'm very happy to introduce as Associate Professor Journalism, Harvard University. So that day has come. Nidhi Razdan. Nidhi, let me start with you because there's been something about this story which has been both troubling and redemptive. It's been redemptive because this is what NDTV and channels like us have been saying all along, that ratings are corrupt. Also redemptive because this gives you hope that the fact that channels like Republic have high ratings is not just because viewers actually watch this kind of nonsense, but also troubling, Nidhi, because despite the denials by the Maharashtra government, and you heard Parambir Singh as well, that this is not political, there is that concern that you are also going after Republic because of the position Republic has taken vis-a-vis the Maharashtra government.
Vasu, a couple of things here. I think the first thing, as you said, is that NDTV has been saying for a long time that these ratings have been manipulated and no one was really listening to what we were saying. I tweeted earlier today what Pranoy Roy had written back in 2017 in an NDTV book, in an entire chapter where he's described how these ratings are manipulated, how you have these consultants who work for different news channels who would, go into these homes which have these people meters attached to their TVs to measure the ratings. Now, these are supposed to be anonymous homes, but they would find out the addresses of these people. They would go there, they would offer them money, or they would offer them, plasma TVs or some form of a bribe and say, look, this is what we're giving you. Now you sit and watch these list of channels for X number of hours in a day. And it was that simple, basically, to manipulate those ratings. I have to also, though, say that this issue of manipulation of ratings actually predates Republic TV. And many of the channels tonight, as one of our other former colleagues, Anindya Chakravarti, has pointed out today, who are being sanctimonious about this issue, were very much part of the same manipulation of ratings back then. So this is something that has been going on for a very long time. The second issue that you raised, Vasu, about this being a police investigation and a possible political angle, I think that that is something that should concern us. Ideally, we should have had this industry itself clean up the system from within. We should have our own regulation, self-regulation. That's what bodies like the NBSA, of which Mr. Qureshi has been a part, that's why they were there, but they don't have any teeth. Some of these channels have walked out of these broadcasting authority bodies and set up their own, like Mr. Goswami. So it's not an ideal situation for the police to be getting involved in the long run, or for different state governments to be getting involved. But unfortunately, I don't see what other way there is at the moment.
Right. No, that's true, because the modus operandi that the police has described, Dr. Qureshi, is almost the exact modus operandi that, as Nidhi mentioned, was outlined in Pranoy's book. In fact, the book actually quotes someone from Nielsen, which was at that time handling the ratings, as you know, TAM ratings. They put that graphic up on screen, where Nielsen, when we complained to them, and this is quoted from Pranoy's book, said that Nielsen sent out their global head of security to India, and after a 4-month elaborate investigation, he said, the global head of security said, I've never seen as much corruption of the Nielsen system anywhere else in the world as he did in India. So this goes back a long time, Dr. Qureshi, which is what you were saying to me this afternoon, that as head of Doordarshan, all those years ago, you came across this, but nothing happened.
Yes, Vasu, in a way, I was the first whistleblower, and it was as far back as 2001 when I was DG Doordarshan, and we found that although our media reach was more than 54%, because we were not a satellite channel, terrestrial channel, and half the country did not have satellite, but the ratings were manipulated in such a way that our audience share was being shown as only 2% or 1%, as a result of which nobody was giving us advertising. At that time, TV ad spend was 8,000 crores, and everybody was eyeing that. And we were wondering, why is it that people don't look at us? They said, look at your audience share. The TAM rating is all against us. Now, a little bit of history which you must know, which has to come out. Because before TAM, actually there were two agencies, and another one was called InTAM. Now, these two agencies were giving totally different reports, which was upsetting TAM, and they bought InTAM. And at that time, instead of making being called a cartel, they said, oh, now we have a single currency. And even people in Doordarshan also started using this fancy term. Now we have a single currency, which I would like to call a cartel. And as a result, the expose, which I used to come regularly from InTAM, stopped altogether. Now, everybody would be talking about it, but nobody had seen people meter. At that time, there were 3,000. I was curious, and I normally go deep into these things. I said, please install a people meter on my office television. So I wanted to see the procedure, and how do they do it? They take off the back cover of the TV, and 2 wires from the set-top box, the people meter, are soldered on the tuner. Now, this kind of interference, who would allow on the television? And then we suspected that the guy who used to come to collect the data, I befriended him. I said, do you pay these people where your TVs are installed? Initially, he denied. After he became friendly, he said, no, actually, we don't pay them cash, but we give them goodies like pressure cooker and crockery and other things. So that got admitted. So after that, I, in fact, arranged a meeting with the top 10 advertisers of the country who controlled 80% of the money, 10 of them. And we went to Bombay, CEO Prasad Bharati, K. Sharma and I, and asked them, why is it that you are blindly giving money to these channels? Yes. Don't you want to spend the money wisely? They say, we have to go by some figures, and these are the only figures. And also, we also discovered at that time one TV channel which was getting very high rating on serials was also at some level the three generation.
Yes.
They were also owner of S.E. Nielsen. Now conflict of interest was
I
very
see.
obvious.
That's another right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
wow,
I can tell you, Vasu, on telephone, the name of those two, the channel and the owner of the S.E. Nielsen company. So, you know, that has
so
been going on for a long
this
time.
is fascinating. This is actually fascinating history. Very important, actually, what you're saying, Dr. Qureshi. Let me just go to Balki for a second, because Balki, it's you know, this is an important point. Many of us, like NDTV, other broadcasters, keep pushing for a cleanup of the system. But why are advertisers, you think, not doing enough of that? I mean, from your own time, you know, when you were in Lintas Loeb, were you guys aware of all this going on? Did you also ever try to push for change?
Let me tell you one thing, Vasu, because firstly, in Intest, we were not a media planning company, we were a creative company. So media, there are media houses and there are media companies which are separate from the advertising agencies of today. So therefore, I feel, I think the most important thing, Vasu, is let's also just take a pause and kind of not call somebody a criminal before it's proven. And I feel we shouldn't be following what somebody else has been following for TRPs all along. So I think that we should be cautious of that. Second, most important thing, it's more scary if there is if it's proven to be right, if the TRPs are proven to be right, which is far more scarier for me. If it's false, it's a crime. It's a financial crime. It's more in that kind of area. What is really scary to me is if it's not if the crime has not been committed and actually a lot of people are watching it, that's what you really need to be worried about. Because if a lot of people are watching it, the effect of that and the crime of that is far, far, far more deadly, because you are filling people with lies. I mean, I'm not saying one channel is doing it. There are a lot of channels who are doing it today, filling people with lies, filling people with, making people guilty while they're innocent before any kind of proof, running courts, running this thing. These really affect people, because I know what the strangest thing is, people actually believe the news. Whatever crap that's put out there, people actually believe it. That is what is so scary and dangerous. So the figures to me and the manipulation of these, yes, on a very economical and a very, so-called legal level is dangerous. But what is more dangerous is the other one. And that's what I'm glad these things are being spoken about.
But Balki, do you think that this is going to, we already are seeing some signs that at least some advertisers are rethinking their strategy when it comes to advertising on channels, not so much just purely now based on ratings, but also on the kind of hateful content that they put out. You see that as something that could pick up after this?
I think 100%. I think like Bajaj is pulled out of all advertising from any of these toxic channels, what they kind of brand. It's a very simple thing. What people need to do today, we walk in figures. We just look at the figures. In everything, we have a quantitative and a qualitative kind of thing. We don't do a qualitative aspect on this one at all. We don't look at the quality. We don't look at the effects. As citizens of this country and as codes of conduct of companies dictate us to do, we also need to kind of behave in the way that we behave in a lot of other areas in our company, in media too. So our brands, what are we doing with our brands? What are we funding? What's the kind of harm it's doing to society? It's not just about the environment. It's just not about human resourcing. It's also about what you're doing to the general minds of people. How are you funding that? So I think this is going to play a very, very important role. And I think people are going to come up with both qualitative and quantitative figures.
Okay. Well, let's see if that happens. I'm told we literally have 20 seconds left. Nidhi, you think anything is going to change?
Well, I hope it's an inflection point, Vasu, and I really hope and sincerely hope that happens. And I honestly believe things are not going to change until advertisers take a stand to begin with and viewers take a stand on these issues. So I'm talking about content now, not just these manipulated TRPs. So that's part of it. And I think advertisers will be the key. If advertisers finally get a conscience, because in private, Vasu, they've been saying for years, oh, look at the tamasha that's playing out, the Hindu-Muslim angles that are playing out on these channels. Oh, very bad, very bad. But they got to put their money where their mouth is. They've got to walk the talk now. Enough is enough.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, amen to that. Let's see if that happens. But it's been great having all of you. Thank you so much for joining me on Reality Check. Thanks so much for watching. Goodbye. Good night.